Okay, the next section is to remove all of these bits that are going to interfere with the removal of the carpet from under this center console area. A tip would be to take lots of photos of this so that you can remember how to thread the wiring and all of that type of stuff when you go to reinstall it. It will be different on your car than my car. So looking at the bits that we need to remove, we need to remove these wiring harness clips. They basically just have two pins that you squeeze in and lift, or lever out with a with a trim tool. You've got this metal bracket that are just two 10 mils that screw straight out. You've got the airbag module that have three 10 mils here, and you need to push this little piece down here and remove this little copper earth wire just here. Anyway, that one there, and some, I think it's 13 mils on your handbrake, just to lift those up, but be careful with that because you don't want to release it completely. So I'll just get started on that and come straight back. Alright, so we've got most of those parts out. Just a word of caution: when you're removing the handbrake, make sure you have your car in park. Make sure you have your car in park and the wheels chocked, because of course the handbrake won't be functional anymore because we've basically let the pressure off the cable. Under the airbag here, and just lift that up. You can see that the whole heap of wiring here and this whole bracket can basically just lift out like this. So that's now out of the way. Once again, take photos before you pull all that stuff up so you can see how it all goes back together. There's the cables for the handbrake release. And so what we'll be doing later is, when we pull the carpet through, we'll be feeding the handbrake through this slot down here. So you don't need to disconnect the handbrake, just needs to be loosened up so you can feed it through this hole in the carpet. Once again, good idea to just keep all of these things in plastic bags, all labelled up so you know where all the screws and things belong later. We can take these clips off this harness here, so that we can actually get to the wiring, play with all of that. Anyway, so that's all those pieces out of the way. Right, so the next piece we need to remove to be able to get access to the carpet is this seat belt brace. Basically it's a T50, so we just take that out. It's pretty simple, and then this bar is a bit of an L, like a hook shape, so you twist it and then just wriggle it around like that, and out she comes. That's what the end looks like. So when you put it back in, you've got to sort of start like that and twist it around so that it hooks into the hole at the end. It is a bit easier to get out than it is to reinstall, so you need to do that on both sides to so that we can lift the back carpet. Okay, we've pretty much got access to the carpet now. Just to explain how the carpet's laid out. Well, basically the carpet's in two parts. There's with a seam running down down the middle here, just underneath the front of the front seats. You can see it running across there. So the carpet's actually in two halves. The back half just hooks up over these hooks that run along the edge of the rear seat, so you can lift those up and pretty much just fold the whole, pull the whole rear carpet out like this. Okay, so that's the rear section. So the front's going to be a little bit tricky in your car, because the front's going to be held in place under the dash and it can't be removed without actually removing the dash. So the easiest way around it, I found, was to cut basically along both sides around here, and then cut through this section here to split the carpet, and then here to split the carpet into basically 3 pieces. So you end up with a driver's side piece and a passenger side piece, and in that case, when you do it that way, you basically lift it and lift it through here, and hard to do with one hand, of course, but there you go. It basically just lifts out like a dish, and exposing the underside floor pan. So now that's the driver's side piece of carpet gone. Just go around the car, and we'll do the same on the passenger side. So just basically lift it from the back or the front, whichever works for you, and just pull the whole thing out. There you go. So that's the front of the carpet out, and now we need to do the rear. Now the rear is a little bit tricky because we need to fold it and thread some of this stuff through, and so the best way to do it is to work from one side and fold the carpet that way across the car. So I'm not going to be able to do that with while filming, so I'm just going to put that down and take the back out, and then join you in a minute. Right, so essentially with this rear carpet, you fold it back over the center and then sort of loop the wiring harness, or feed the wiring harness through, so you can get the carpet past the wiring harness. And then that leaves you with this center section here, where essentially you need to feed this handbrake through this hole, and then once that's through, basically the carpet should just lift all the way out. So just going to do that and be right back. Okay, we've got the rear carpet out now. Just one thing to note with the carpet is there's quite a fair bit of foam sculpting, quite thick in places, both for comfort and for noise deadening, I'm guessing. So you need to just bear that in mind when you're laying your sound treatment material. You don't want it too thick, otherwise the carpets won't go back in. So that's the carpets out. That's great. Now let's see what we've got to work with. In the rear area, we've got some cabling that's running down the side of the car, with the main power line from the battery. You've got these stock enclosures for the underseat subwoofers. Not used in my car anymore, so I can probably get rid of those. You've got this air vent mechanism that carries air into the rear seats under the floor, so I think that disconnects up in here, and you can also pull these little plastic connecting plugs out. You've got some more wiring for the underseat, and some, looks like some foam fillers here that can be removed and discarded, or whatever you want to do. So getting close to being able to treat the front just with those few bits and pieces to remove. On the passenger side, it's a similar story. Vents, the housing for the subs, underseat subs, some foam filler, very similar. More wiring harnesses that are running down towards the back of the car. So it's quite a complicated little shape to sound treat. We certainly won't be able to just run sheets over the top, so we're going to have to cut and work our way around that. And then of course into the into the firewall area. Going to have to treat that as well. So there you go. So that's the internal part of the cabin stripped out and ready for sound treatment. So I'm going to take a little break and join you guys for the next section. Cheers.